Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I've got a lot of fun DIY crafts for you today. So what are we waiting for? Like seriously, what are we waiting for? Oh, you want me to turn the video off and get past this little part? Deal. Let's get started. Today we'll be working on some DIY Rustic Farmhouse Christmas crafts, so let's get started with project number 1. For this project, I picked up this gigantic bell at Michael's, and it was originally $9.99, and they had it on sale for $4.99. And I know I have seen these bigger bells at Hobby Lobby, I believe, Joann's, and if you can't even find these, you could still do the same thing on those large ornaments that Dollar Tree sells. Okay, but run to Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby. These are really cool. I mean, they are gigantic. So first thing we're going to do, did you know they were gigantic? So first thing we're going to do is disassemble the top. We're going to keep a few of the pieces. I want to keep that little hook I just laid down, and I want to keep the big twine area here so it could be hung. And then also attached to this greenery it's a little jingle bell. It's a wire and a bell, if you can see here. And I'm going to go ahead and keep that in as well. I'm just going to kind of hook it down here to the side so it doesn't fall in for now. Now I'm going to do is take a little zip tie. Those little zip ties you can get at Dollar Tree. I've shortened my twine a little bit, so I'm going to retie it here. And then I'm going to string this little clip through the center of it. Cut off a little bit more of that twine. And then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take this, put it to the side. Here's some of the ribbon I'll be using, and a bunch of the greenery and these beautiful beads a sweet subby sent me. Thank you. Tons of, twine here. I'm going to use these clickable stamps and a little fabric strip I've sewed around. Rusty wire, just tons of greenery, and I'm just going to kind of lay it all out here. Rusty stars. Of course, I'll have the link to the rusty stars, wires, any rusty bells in my description box from factoryduck.com. Buttons, and I just laying it all out so you can see the amount of greenery I'm going to use on this. Basically, we are going to Lindify this bell right up. And I think it makes such a huge difference. Here comes more greenery, pine cones, little ornaments you can get at Walmart. More greenery. Yeah, we're going to put all this on here. So now what we're going to do is get that clip ready. I'm hooking that bell and that wire to the twine here. I'm going to tighten it around it really tight so that it doesn't fall off. And that way it still jingles a little, right? And then we're going to go ahead and put the clip inside the opening here. And then I'm going to bring in, nobody freak out, I say it every once in a while, my hot glue gun, and look how pretty it is. I bought a new one for y'all. I know, right? Tired of showing you my grungy one. Anyway, now we're going to start putting on greenery, and I'm going to go all the way around this opening here. And of course, that opening will get all covered up. We won't see the ugliness there. And I start with kind of the bigger, this is real, y'all. This bigger greenery here, and I like snowy and kind of a little bit of glittery greenery and stuff like that, and I just want it to kind of hang down and around the sides here, and you're going to see just this entire process. Actually, though, I'm fibbing a little bit. I think off camera I decided I need just a little bit more hanging down the sides a little bit. It was almost a little bit too pointy, so I added a little bit more to go down around the sides. Of course, you'll see that in the final looks. And all my greenery, as I always say, it comes, Joann's. I get a lot at Hobby Lobby. A lot of things like this type of greenery here. Hobby Lobby has those miniature greenery trees you can buy. And I think this last time I went, they were like 60% off. So I was getting these little greenery trees, snowy little trees for like $3, and I cut the greenery off those. So that's an idea for you. As you can see, I took some of that greenery. I'm kind of setting it upright a little bit so it kind of comes up in front of that twine hanger a little bit. I debated whether or not to take the twine hanger off, but then I decided no, I'm going to leave it on. So of course you could hang it, from something, of course, obviously. So just still adding a little bit more of the greenery, finding empty spaces where I need to put stuff in. And basically I settled on about 5 different types of greenery here, and just kind of kept, tucking them in and letting it hang down a little bit. Love these with kind of the beaded berries on them. That'll bring up the red from the bell a little bit. So you want to kind of think about those options. And I love how they kind of, you know, come out to a point. They're nice and long. Here's some nice fluffy greenery, so you can put that in as filler, and I'm cutting off the excess. Sometimes you'll see me, the bottom of greenery, you'll see me kind of snip off one side a little bit, like on half of the greenery. That's so that it glues a little better, because you have all this pokey greenery. You know, it doesn't want to stick very well. So if you take the side you're going to glue down and kind of trim that a little bit, it makes it flatter to glue down a little bit better. So as you see, we're getting a little bit fuller in here, and I'm filling in with this kind of real snowy, is that box something trim? I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, coming in with the bow, all I did was, you know, pleat it back and forth. I'm going to make 4 little things here, and I squished it in the center, and I'm just going to take a piece of twine and tie it here. I want nice, really long tails, because you know we're going to, you know, crinkle and wrinkle them down the sides of our ornament here. Go ahead and get this excess twine cut off. Perfect. Get this into position, cut off the excess there, and then I'm going to take some of that rusty wire and curl it around a paintbrush handle here. You don't always see the wire when I put it on there, because, you know, sometimes I'm trying to conserve and I don't make it long enough, but I know it's there. I know it's a little bit, you know, more sticking out, as if we can't have any more sticking out already, right? So just kind of filling in a little bit more in the front area. And of course, you know, I'm going to cover up any glue globs that are being seen. I will add more greenery till those glue globs are gone. But I really like how this turned out. I bought 3 red bells, and I wanted 4. Of course, I didn't have any, and I found a kind of galvanized silver one. They had green, red, regular silver, and like galvanized silver. So got that wire in, and the pine cones are coming in here, and just seeing where I wanted to put the pine cones in as compared to the bow. And I'm tucking in some of those beautiful berries, and now we're going to go ahead and glue the bow on right underneath those pine cones. And I'm going to add in some of this real kind of fluffy looking, I'm actually using my Fabri-Tac glue for this. It's kind of frilly, fluffy. The hot glue melts this particular one, so I'm using my Fabri-Tac glue on this. And then here I'm going to come down and wrinkle, crinkle my bows down the side, my bow tails here. Perfect, looking good. I like it. It is, I will say, I'm going to use this Distress Oxide Vintage Photo ink. I'm going to ink up my button and my tag here and come back to my thought. It was a little bit hard trying to do this bell, because obviously it kept wanting to roll. So if you look up under that bell there a little bit, I've got a roll of ribbon on it, because it's got a big hole in the center, and it helped hold my bow up. Anyway, here comes the clickable stamps from Michaels. I'll have a link in the description box for you below. It says Believe. And some of my rusty metal stars here. I'm going to use my crocodile, punch a couple of holes, because we're going to add that on to the end of our twine, as we've been doing throughout our Christmas series this year. That's just kind of my theme this year. I've been putting rusty bells or rusty stars at the end of my twine. You know what? We're using the same kind of things on all our projects, but it ties it all in, and they each look different even though we're using the same kind of things, and that's what I like about this stuff. So I put my twine bow on there and hung that little ornament. Those came from the mini ornament section at Walmart. Set of 4 little deer I thought was cute, and then we're going to glue on our little fabric tag and glue the button in the center of it. And then I'm going to come down and go ahead and kind of glue my ribbons into place here, or my twine into place here. Make a knot at the end of it at the length I want, cut off the excess so our star doesn't fall off. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue the star on. And I kind of bent it a little bit to fit over the little rim on that bell. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Tie a knot at the length we want, cut off the excess, glue our little twine ends down into position. Super cute. And then you know what's coming next. Yes, I'm using my favorite spray glitter I get from Walmart, and then my multi-purpose adhesive here, and my little pumpkin spice kind of glitter mixture. I sprayed the spray glitter off camera. You could probably see a little bit twinkly on the red there. And then I'm just spray adhesive in certain spots and sprinkling on that spice and glitter mixture. And then even on the back a little bit too, yes. And then once I do that, this project is complete. Let's move on to our very quick and easy project number 2. For this project, I found this at Joann's. Normally $16.99. It was 60% off. I got it for like $5. I got a couple of them because one, I'm going to make a scarf out of. Add some little pom-poms at the end, and it's perfect length for a scarf. Yeah, for myself. Anyway, that's good gift ideas. And then I'm going to use a small embroidery hoop. This is a 4-inch size embroidery hoop. And then, of course, one of these I saved to use to make a bunch of these embroidery hoop ornaments. And I'm just going to stretch it to fit over the embroidery hoop. Last year, they had some red of this kind of sweater material, and I turned it again, like I said a minute ago, into a scarf, and it's just so cute. And I thought this white one would look cute. Use the pom-pom maker from Dollar Tree, make the little mini pom-poms, and add like 3 to each end of the length of your scarf. Will be so cute and a great gift idea. So you stretch that sweater over the embroidery hoop, and then put the other half on, and then I'm gluing down the little bit that's in the middle of underneath that screw area. And then once I get that glued down a little bit, I'm going to screw it nice and tight. And then on the back, I'm just going to cut off the excess, and I'm going to trim it as close as I can to that embroidery hoop. I don't want to worry about, trying to cover it on the back or anything like that. I think as close as I get it trimmed, it looks really nice enough to sell. I'm not worried about it. I get it really, really close. Take a while to trim it. Perfect. Then what we're going to do, I've just got some snowy greenery here. Again, remember, this is quick and easy. I'm just adding a couple pieces here. One on each side. And the little screw type at the top will hold a little ornament holder easily, and that's how you can hang it on your tree. And then I've got a little 1-inch fabric strip that I've ripped, and I've got that tied into a bow here. So I'll go ahead and see how long I want my tails. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and get that into position where I want it. We'll glue that right on, just using our Beacon Fabri-Tac glue for this project. Really quick and easy, but I love how country it is. Putting our little beaded berries in, a couple at the top. And then I'm going to wrinkle and crinkle my tails down so they stay in position and don't just, drop freely to the center, because when they're hanging on the tree, they'll be nice and pretty and, prim and proper for us. Perfect. And then I'm trim that off a little bit more, and then I will bring in another piece of fabric here. I've sewn around it. And then, of course, a twine bow, and we'll use our clickable stamps and stamp the word believe on there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of vintage photo ink, kind of ink around the edges of that, and we'll go ahead and glue our twine bow on here. I love the sweater material in this ornament. I just think it looks so soft, farmhouse, rustic, pretty. Glue on our little tag into position, and glue on our button right at the top of our tag. I love it. And then, of course, I'm going to add a little bit of spray glitter here. So I'll cut off my tails the length I want. We'll spray our spray glitter on, and that makes this project complete. Let's move on to our last project, number 3. For this project, I'm going to use one of these from Dollar Tree. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have got 2 because I think this project would look really cute as a trio. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, of course, is go ahead and take it apart. You're going to need 2 pieces for this project. Once you get apart, I'd probably save the little rings too. They might come in handy. And then you're going to go ahead and remove all the fun stuff on top. That was my own nice way of saying the ugly stuff on top, and remove all the garland off each one. Now, once I remove the garland off like this first one, doesn't that look like a cute little pie plate? Like, those cute mini pies that Jen Mother Time here on YouTube makes? This would look so cute for that. Just a thought. Anyway, once I get that back to earth here, once I get that all the stuff taken off, I'm going to just go ahead and cut off these little things on the end of each one, just so they don't stick out for us. It'll be a little bit easier. And then once that's done, I'm going to take my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue here, and I'm going to put it all along the outer edge of this, and then I'm going to hook both of these together. And then after that, I'm going to just use some of these Dollar Tree clamps and clamp it together for about 10 minutes. And then pull those off. And this is, of course, what we have. And I'm going to use a piece of batting here. And I cut it about 3 inches larger than our little candy here. And I'm going to use a bunch of stuffing nice and thick for the bottom and top of this. And then we're going to place this inside our batting. Now, you're probably wondering, if we're going to stuff it in that, why are we even using the candy piece? Well, we want this to look like a flat candy in our batting versus like a round pumpkin shape, right? So that's why we're doing it. I'm going to use quilting thread here for this part, and just thread and, normal size needle here. Double up your thread though, and tie a little knot at the end. It'll make it nice and strong. And it's strong enough for this. And we're going to just do a little gathering stitch here. You can see I'm kind of starting from the inside and pulling it out to the knot. And it'll come about a 1/2 inch out, in case we have some beginners here, and bring it back to the front side and pull it all the way through. Go about a 1/2 inch out. Go from the front to the back, pull it through. Again, 1/2 inch out. We're going to go from the back to the front, pull it through. We'll do this a few more times. Front to back. Back to front, 1/2 inch or so apart is perfectly wonderful. One more here. Great, and then this is what we look like here, just like that, little stitches all the way across, okay? So you can continue in that mode, or you can go really quick. See, I have my needle kind of poking halfway out. If you have a longer needle, you can do this, and you just go back and forth, not pulling your needle in and out, and sort of pleat your fabric onto your needle. So here it looks like little pleats of like a curtain or a shower curtain. Do that, and you can put as many on as your needle will handle. Back and forth really quick. And then you can go ahead and pull it through, and you'll get a bunch done really quickly at one time. We'll go ahead and go through that one more time. Like I said, in case we have some beginners, you're just going to pleat it back and forth without removing your needle from the fabric. Get as many little pleats on your needle as it will hold, and then go ahead and pull it through. Perfect, just like that. And you're going to repeat this process all the way around till you come back closer to that first knot you made. You can see right here how close I am, about a 1/2 inch away. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it through and then pull that knot out a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave my needle on the thread for now. I'm going to open this up a little bit, and we're going to place our stuffing in little candy form right inside. Perfect. And you can choose how little or stuffing you want, little or big, or how much amount you want in there. Once you get that in there, go ahead and pull both of those strings out together. Might have to adjust your stuffing a little bit. Go ahead and pull it all the way out. And then I'm going to make like a 1/2 knot here and get it most of the way closed. Just like that. And then go ahead and finish your knot off. Perfect. And then once I get that off, I take my needle off the end and then tie about 4 or 5 knots. And you can see there's about a 1/4 size opening there, so it doesn't have to be done all the way. And then once we're done, we've got our little candy form here. Perfectly cute. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is bring out my Distress Oxide ink and Vintage Photo and my little finger sponge here, and I'm just going to ink around this batting here. Of course, you can use felt if you can't find batting, just to darken it up and give us that distress kind of primitive look. And then now I've got another tag here that I've sewn around the edge. I'm going to use the word Mary with these clickable stamps. Go ahead and stamp that toward one end. And then we're just going to set that aside for a minute. We're going to move on to a fabric strip here. I've ripped about a 1.5 inch strips, probably about 45 inches long. I'm going to go about the middle of the strip and place it on that hole. And I'm going to flip my candy over, and I'm going to kind of do an over-under type thing here to make a little, plus sign in the center and bring it back, wrapping around back to the front. And then I'm going to bring each end under that original first piece of fabric so that when I bring it up and over and tie a little knot, it'll kind of make it skinny in the center. Now, once I tie a knot, you could leave it like this and leave your ends hanging out like that, but I'm going to add a fabric bow on top. So I'm actually going to kind of cut these off a little bit, and then I'm going to tuck those ends right into that center hole just to hide them. And then here's my fabric bow, again a ripped piece. We'll set that aside, and I'm going to again bring out that Vintage Photo ink and just kind of ink up this plaid fabric here. And then here's some of the greenery and stuff I'll be using. Again, as I always say, you can choose whatever you want. Bring in my beaded berries, some curly wire, some rusty bells, a rusty star, a button, some twine. And now if you didn't want to make like this tag, Walmart has these mini ornaments you can put on there, would look just as cute. So I wanted to give you that option. They have lots of set of 4 little, mini ornaments like that you could choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing in my greenery here. I chose some with some red berries again, just to kind of bring out the red of that checkered fabric and bring in this cute little whimsical looking greenery here. I picked this up on like a big garland at Hobby Lobby last year. I like it because it's so wispy and whimsical looking. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue my bow on into place, and then I'll glue in my beaded berries at the top of that. And then I'm going to glue in my little curly wire here. Perfect. And glue in my star. I love Fabri-Tac glue because it holds like cement, and then you have time to, tuck things in and around as you're gluing. Now I'm going to go ahead and add these rusty bells to the end of my twine bow. And then I'll go ahead and glue that twine bow right on top. And then I'll go ahead and ink up my little fabric tag. Perfect. And then I want to go ahead and wrinkle and crinkle my ribbon. You knew what was coming up next. Left and right side here. And I'm going to leave my ribbon a little bit long. That just kind of makes it cute. It's not going to be, it'll lay on the table a little bit, but that makes it fun. Perfect. And then I'm going to figure out which length I want my tails of my twine there and tie a knot in each one so that my bells don't fall off. Perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and glue down where I want my twine to lay so they don't just fall toward the center. Just about done with this. I think it's a super cute project. I like how it turned out. One last gluing option here. Perfect. And then I'm going to glue on my little tag. And I'm going to glue the end into place so it stays where I want it. I'm going to add some pip berries here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of greenery at the top and a little bit of greenery at the bottom. Just to so it's not such white space there. Go ahead and glue my button on. And then off camera, I'm going to use my spray glitter. You knew it was coming. And then bring in my adhesive and my little spice glitter mixture. Just a little bit. You don't want it everywhere. It can be too much on such a small project, but I'll do 3 or 4 places here around the front and back and sides just a little bit, some tiny little areas. And then once I do that, let's take a look at before to now. I think it's quite a Linda-fied difference, and that makes this project complete. So, of course, I hope you liked how all these projects came out today. You know what to do. Leave me a comment below and let me know which project was your favorite. Please give this video a thumbs up. And if you just wandered in here and you're checking things out and you're digging what you saw, make sure before you click off you hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on another video from me. And just a side thought, as you're watching this, I am in my second Craft Bazaar show. Those of you that asked, my first show went really well. 14 tubs down to 2. Love it. Hopefully this bazaar will be just as blessed. Before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. The battle isn't won with thoughts of defeat. The battle is won because God walks with us and guides us in all the gifts He has given us. God uses anyone who is willing. He uses anyone who trusts in what He has asked you to do in your life. He gives you all the gifts and talents you need in this life to walk successfully day by day. Don't let the enemy fill your thoughts with insecurity. Don't let the enemy take away your confidence. Don't let the enemy allow you to measure the height of that mountain you're facing, because God is bigger than that mountain. Don't let the enemy make you feel that you are nothing, because with God, you are everything. Be relentless in all that God has for you. Feel confident in your abilities. Our tendency is to allow our thoughts to make those fears and insecurities bigger. Stop it Instead, meditate on how big your God is. Walk boldly in the name of Jesus. You are strong, you are bold, you are courageous in all that God has for you. You matter to God. You are important to God. So hold your head high and know that you are a child of the Most High God, and nothing will change that ever. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.